I got really busy today and had some other priorities I had to take care of. So all we're going to get in for computer science today is an active recall of yesterday. All right, what did I learn yesterday? There was a lot. It was 2 hour 45 minute sessions total. Um, Files. Yeah, files. Where did we start? Modes before files. I think we started files. Okay, I think there was one note potentially before files, and then we did all the files yesterday. Before files was basically no, no, I don't know about that actually. Anyway, um, let's just start blurting out things about files. So you can open a file using the open built-in function, and then once it's open, it creates a file object, and with that file object, you can potentially read and or write, depending on the mode. So the mode is basically when you open it, you have to clarify what mode it is. The default, if it's not clarified, is R, which is read only, which means if you attempt to open a file that doesn't exist, it will throw an error. And if you do open a file that does exist, a text file, then all you can do is read. You can't edit it. No writing on it or overwriting. W is write. Write will, if you try to open a file that doesn't exist, will create one. If it does already exist, then it will overwrite the current file. And then A is append. And this will, again, if you attempt to open a file, it will create a new one if it doesn't exist, or it'll open a one that does exist. This one won't overwrite, but it will append the text to the file. Okay. Okay, how about read? So read is a method that will read the file and take everything in the file and put it in one string. Read lines will will return a list of strings, each string corresponding with a line from the text. Read line is very similar to read lines, except that it will read one line at a time instead of all at once, I believe. And this is because if the file is very large, that can be beneficial. So all these can they're all string method, or they're all methods, file methods, and they can all take an optional argument, I believe, which is the amount of bits you want to actually read from the file itself. Okay. Did we get much into the write? So the first unit was on reading, the second was on writing. What about buffer? So buffer, when you're writing, basically before text gets actually put into the file, it goes to a buffer, and that buffer, it's the text stays in the buffer until a new line is created. So once a full line of text is within the buffer, then it will get output into the file itself. Okay, I don't know, we're missing some stuff, but let's find out. Oh wait, one more thing. Iterating over the lines of a file is so common that it accepts for loops. So basically for line in file, or a file object. All right. Files, reading files. Open creates a file object. Assuming that a file such as myfile.txt exists if you are in R or R mode. Single argument, path to the file. Okay. File.close will close the file. Once you close the file, you can't read or write. So close this file, after which you can't read or write the file anymore. Okay, file.read returns a file, the file contents as a string. File.read lines returns a list of strings in which each string is a line from the file. Read line returns a single line at a time. So these file methods can take an optional argument to specify the number of bytes. I say bits, I meant bytes to read from the file. And otherwise, if the specified bytes is greater than the bytes in the file or no bytes are specified, it'll read to the end of file EOF. Okay. Writing files, file.write. I didn't mention this. File.write. I'm assuming it's gonna take the string argument, only string arguments, no numbers. Writes a string argument to a file, only accepts string arguments. Modes. Modes indicate how a file is opened. Second argument in a call to open. Default mode is R. R allows for reading if file is missing, error. W, open file for writing. If file is missing, a new file is created. Contents of an existing file are overwritten. A, append. Appending creates new file if file isn't found. No overwriting. Oh, you can also use plus at the end of the R, W, or A to both read and write. This is an update mode. Output buffer, default line buffer. That is right. I forgot to mention. I kind of implicitly mentioned it. Line buffering. Line buffer is the default. And so buffer output or output buffer. Output to a file is buffered by interpreter before being written to the hard disk. All right, not actually too bad for a recall. So that's going to be it for basically today. I'll be back tomorrow. And this is week 15. Last week or yesterday we did hit our goal for the week. So yeah, good start to the week. Well, could have been more, but at least we reached the goal last week. So talk to you tomorrow. See you.